here's how I'm feeling about Canada's new soccer coach. Because again, I don't know anything, right? I'm Canada's biggest soccer fan. I'm rooting for the program. But here's what I know. I did my cursory research yesterday. Sid Seixeiro's on the line, so I want him to hear this because I want him to basically tell me if I'm being dumb. But here's what I see. Okay, Canada Soccer has hired Jesse Marsch. And I go, nice, all right. This guy at RB Salzburg apparently was quite good. But then I read post RB Salzburg, not so good. He was sacked by RB Leipzig after only winning 8 of 21. Then he was sacked by Leeds United after he won a 4 of 20. He's an American coach, and he's been out of work for some time. And apparently Canada had to kick the can around and go door to door and say, hey, MLS teams, we need your money, and we also need private money in order to even be able to hire this guy. So from the outset, I'll let's decide whether or not I'm going to get excited. But when I did my own research, oh, by the way, the team that he won with had a player who I'm familiar with is very, very good in terms of driving some of the success. So, yeah, take that for what you will. Sid Seixeiro of BT joins me now. What's up, brother? How was my assessment of this? Am I way off?
Man, you could work for the BBC.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Some elite level soccer footy, if you will, analysis.
How close did I get to saying those places right? RB.
RB Salzburg. No, you got it.
Yeah,
you got
right,
it.
nice.
By the way, was the guy he coached at Salzburg, was that not Erling Haaland?
Yes, it was. That's my point.
Okay,
It's like I'm pretty
Haaland.
sure that a lot of guys would have won with Erling Haaland or like Haaland at that point of his life. Like I don't know if he was out there being like, here's the part of your foot you should kick it with. And he was like, oh my God, this coach changed my life. Yeah.
Give me 21-year-old Erling Haaland in any league in Europe. I got a shot.
That's what I'm saying.
I got a shot.
Yeah, his league with him at that time, it feels like, Mike Jose, big soccer guys, give me the thumbs down. But I don't know. It just feels like that would at least benefit your record as a head coach, especially when your other stops don't go well. No,
but like his time at Leeds, like if memory serves, he came in like to save them from relegation. And I'm not saying this I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but I think his nickname when he got there was Ted Lasso.
Oh,
that's how he was viewed. Now,
oh my God.
No, but I'm serious. That. It was that. No, but I'm not saying that's who he is. I'm saying some of the English players and some of the international players didn't take initially kindly to him a little bit. But look, that's not the reputation I know of Jesse Marsch.
Okay.
And here's why I like the move.
Okay.
Because you're playing Argentina in like 5 weeks.
Oh yeah, you need a coach.
You needed a coach.
Yeah. Oh, that's a horrible way to start though. Is just you needed to have a coach 5 weeks.
That's where the bar is. Like you're playing Messi in Atlanta on June the 20th in the Copa America, which is a pretty big tournament, and you needed a coach. Like that's my bar. So that's what I'm positive about. Okay. I don't like that he has basically no international experience. I don't like how he hasn't been working for a while. But if you're Canada Soccer, and you're right, you had to go to MLS teams to help fund this, essentially, is what happened, you get what you get. Now, I also know there were some people who know the game of soccer pretty well on the search committee who are very happy with this selection, who respect Jesse Marsch and what he's done. And, I mean, listen, he won like a supporter shield in MLS with the Red Bulls. Like, he's had some success.
Nice.
Like, that's like the regular season award, but you know what I mean? Like, he's won some games. But I'll put it to you this way. I wasn't expecting much more than this hire.
Yeah, okay.
And anyone who was expecting more, you got to give your head a shake. And I give Kevin Blue, the new CEO of Canada Soccer, some respect because he's doing things a little differently, and you got to do it. He's thinking outside the box, and he's going to have to continue to think outside the box. I think Jesse Marsch is a good media guy. I think he's the guy you want in the lead up to a World Cup, representing the program or representing the tournament. I got no problem with it. But it doesn't scream to me quarterfinals in 2026 is what I'm trying to say. And, we'll see where it goes. But at least, listen, they got someone, and that's where the bar was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hooray. Yeah, that was. You were kind of getting me to turn around with it, and then the bar being you just need a coach. Look, you've come on here multiple times, and again, I am very much a casual, right? So like I'm new to this. I'm new to rooting for the program. So I guess this is I am the give your head a shake guy because simply for this reason. From the way that we were looking at where Canada soccer was, having Davies and being a country that seemingly was on the rise and had some pieces and being able to host a World Cup and the actual platform that would give you as a head coach, like the world was going to be able to see you on this stage, what you were going to do, just the growth potential for soccer in this country. Obviously, there's I don't want malfeasance, whatever. There's some kind of controversy behind the scenes in terms of how funds are allocated. But yeah, I've got main character syndrome here. There's a lot of countries on earth and a lot of greater soccer countries in Canada, but I just thought that this was kind of like an exciting job at an exciting time with an exciting roster, and to see that, like if I was told, hey, they're going to get multiple private donors and 3 Canadian clubs are going to pitch in for a salary, my thought would have gone like blindly, oh, this is going to be a coach that maybe I've heard of, or this is going to be like a unanimously exciting hire. And so I'm not trying to disrespect this guy because I don't know enough about him. But what I will say is like, it's enough of a resume for me to understand that this is not some kind of like, holy crap, this is a home run. Holy crap, this is like a real program builder. This is someone that's going to be here for a while during one of the most pivotal times ever, if not the most pivotal time ever in Canadian soccer history.
It's a pivotal time, but like the way you're looking at that from the stance of, look, we're hosting a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a heck of a chair. This is a rare chair. Do not underestimate how many people, when they spoke to Canada Soccer, and Canada Soccer spoke to people, let's make that very clear. The first thing out of the prospective coach's mouth was how much.
Yeah, of course.
The notion of just hosting a World Cup ain't it, man. Like, you got a lot of how much are you paying me as the first, second, and fourth question. And this is not the Federation right now. Like, if you need the Whitecaps to bail you out on funds,
yeah.
like, this is, like, I'm, like, with respect.
I know. It's just a funny thing to hear.
That's not a road I thought they'd go down, but they had to go down. And, okay, listen, what I like about Jesse Marsch is he's been in it at a pretty high level. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to be unfamiliar with big names and personalities and egos. That's important. You just can't have all the players shove this coach around. That's not how this is going to work. But in terms of the lure of being part of a World Cup hosting nation, this ain't Germany in the Euros, man. Like, this is not that to them. So part of me is upset because it was always going to be like an American-ish coach the whole time, and I kind of upset myself.
I want that part of it next. Like, that part of it is like how you feel about the fact that he is American. Like, I don't like that. I'll just say it. I don't like that he's American coaching Team Canada, flat out.
The one thing I like is, if he's not coaching USA Soccer, that at some point there was some friction along the way, because nothing in the U.S. Soccer Federation goes smooth. Nothing. Everyone hates everyone.
I love that.
So I don't mind a motivated, kind of pissed off American coach across the border looking at the States going, you guys don't have Davies. You guys don't have Jonathan David. I'll roll the dice with these guys. There's a part of me there's two positives I like. One, they have a coach. Mm-hmm. Two, there could be a bit of a bleep you here with Jesse Marsch and the American Federation, not because they're going to meet ever in the tournament, because they probably won't, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I think he has a lot to prove here too. The last two major jobs he's had have not gone well, and he's going to be about as motivated as anyone else. So from that standpoint, I don't hate it. Like, I don't like of the Canadian candidates, with respect, their resume isn't his resume, and this is a big moment. And I'd rather have a guy who's been coaching on the sideline at Old Trafford and at Manchester City and at Bayern Munich and at Dortmund than someone who hasn't, especially given what June 20th is going to look like against Argentina. So there are more positive. Like it doesn't rub me as the wrong way the way it does other people. The American thing with Marsch.
It does with me. It just does. And I don't need it to be a Canadian. I just want it to be somebody from a winning country who's seen football played at the higher level. Sorry.
Look, man, I heard names like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I know
heard
who that is.
certain
So.
types. He ran Man U.
You just said it. Okay, I was like,
he was a legend of Man U.
Okay, you said that name, and I was like, what was that? Ule Gunnar Solskjaer. That's what I heard. You said Ule Gunnar Solskjaer. I was like, whoa, him? Like not Ule Gunnar Solskjaer.
The guy sneezed or something? No, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I'll put it to you this way: more experience in his pinky than most Canadian soccer people have in their entire lives.
Yeah, okay. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
A guy like that. I wanted anti-Ted Lasso. I wanted us to be the Ted Lasso. You know what I'm saying? Like someone to come over and teach us the thing. Be like, hey, this is how it's done, you rubes. And go, okay, yeah, no, we fully respect this. This is going to be the new pecking order. I didn't want an American guy who was like, yeah, I was good in MLS and I hate Americans. Great. I've been fired from my last couple of jobs because I got a winning percentage that's not over a quarter. Like, it's just awful.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. Mm-hmm. But in terms of what was on the table,
sure,
it's solid enough. I mean, I'm trying here because I'm with you. Like I was expecting like something a little different for a World Cup, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
Okay. By the way, I would just like to acknowledge, I'm sorry to the soccer fans that had to hear me talk about this. Okay, I know how triggered you are when I said who is Ole Sosa. I know many of you guys want to like punch me in the face, and I will say this: I will offer you this. If you see me out and you can yell at me and say something mean. You know, if I get mean tweets, normally I just instantly mute those or delete. I'm not going to do that to the soccer fans today. I'm fully going to accept your criticism. I'm going to put this up on YouTube. You can say all the mean stuff.
No, don't do that. Hold on. I'm going to defend you here. No, because I remember there was a time when a younger JD Bunkis would have had no idea who the young striker at Salzburg was. So you've come a long way, JD. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't sell yourself short. There was a time you and I couldn't have a single second of a soccer conversation.
Correct.
And now you're all about the Jesse Marsch resume, which I am.
Here's the thing. This is I don't have a club. Okay, I don't root for anybody in Premier League. Like I don't have that. Like that's not my thing. I just want Canada soccer to be great. And all I know is, listen, I'm stupid when it comes to soccer, but I understand how sports work, and I know how a national program is supposed to work. And having someone with an underwhelming resume arrive into town when you're about to host a World Cup and you finally have momentum behind the program, it's like, okay. And you've explained this to me, and other people have too. But I still don't understand how Canada soccer's so broke. I don't understand how they're handing the can around being like, please, we need this guy. He was at Leeds for 20 games. We don't have the money for him. Come on, Whitecaps, put some money in. Who are these private donors that were like, sure, the Leeds guy? Like, how are we so broke?
Well, listen, I can't explain that. Because, the FIFA prize money to me is still the great mystery. I don't know what happened to that.
But that's what I'm saying. There just feels like there's some fat cat somewhere sleeping on a huge pile of money being like, where did it go?
But I understand, look, the private sector for soccer in the country isn't there. Like, I get it. Like, I can hear the argument with Canada soccer business and this and that. Like, I understand. That money from FIFA was legit money in the suitcase cash.
Yeah.
10 million.
Yeah.
Where did it go?
That's what I want to know.
I just that part of that I'll never get, but I haven't gotten an answer on it yet, and I don't think I'll ever get an answer for the rest of my life. So
I'm afraid if I fudge my taxes by $100, that all of a sudden someone's going to kick in my door and be like, "You give us some money. Where's that 100?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Right? And yet somebody walked around with $10 million, and we're like, "How can we afford?"
Gone.
But I'm just saying, imagine being the private donor or the Whitecaps when they showed up at your door asking for this money. How is the first question not, hey, where's the World Cup money? And they're like, what World Cup money? Like, what do you mean? Who's asking? Who has the balls to ask you that? Like, for that money when we don't know where the big money is? I just don't get that part. That doesn't make any sense to me, how that's not a bigger story.
but also don't. And Kevin Blue, again, the new CEO, he's trying to change this. Do not overlook the fact that the majority of the people on that Canada Soccer board, for most of our adult lives, weren't soccer people. It is one of the strangest organizations I've ever seen in my life. And most of the meetings weren't even about how do you better soccer in the country. It was protecting yourself from litigious things like on-field injuries and BS like that. Like if we, like for my whole life, I've wanted to do the audit on Canada Soccer in its totality. I don't want to see how that sausage was made because I will be physically ill if I really see how inept it's been for this long. And I'm hoping that changes. There were good soccer people involved in this decision. I can tell you that in terms of Jesse Marsch. And we're turning a bit of making a bit of a left turn here because for any question you have about Canada Soccer, keep in mind how few actual soccer people were in positions of power. And I'm going to leave it right there.
Cool. You had a bunch of me's out there. Just a bunch of me's.
I would trust a bunch of yous more.
No, you wouldn't. If I had access to that FIFA money, they wouldn't have seen it for Uli Alagupu either.
1, 2, 3 Cancun, baby. 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
I'd have been like, call the Whitecaps. Tell them we're getting Jesse Marsch and we need their money. That would have been me too. I'd have been the first guy to press that conference call button.
But you know what? Listen, before we move on, though, in all seriousness, I want to thank the MLS clubs for stepping up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Seriously.
Hell yeah. And the private donors.
We're having some fun here because it's an odd story, but thank you, all three organizations, all of you, for helping. We needed it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And the private donors, too. This is the Curb episode of Anonymous with Ted Danson. It's like, it's
all of them.
Get whoever these anonymous people are, that's incredible of you to do this. Thank you for us having a coach 5 weeks before playing Argentina. That seems good.
Yes.
That seems good. Like, what were they going to do if not, right? Like, this had to be the latest of the deadlines. I wasn't even thinking about that when I was prepping for the segment. It's like, you going to throw someone in 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before? Like, just no coach? Just player coach, Davies coach?
Somewhere like Brad Treliving's reading the story saying a month to get ready for something. Tell me about it.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
all right. Tell me about that situation.
Yeah, you know what? And I thought Treliving ultimately did a pretty decent job this year. This one's going to be a little bit more indicative of, his future and how he's viewed in this city. But again, people are going to understand the circumstances. But okay, so I did want to talk to you about this. And you were impressed by Pelly. And when we're talking about sausages made, you're higher up there. You know kind of a little bit more about this. What impressed you most about Pelly? And what you actually think is going to change in terms of accountability culture here at MLSE, because I think you're a little bit more optimistic than I am.
I am. And I think, I don't understand the take of, I don't know what people wanted to hear Friday, specifically.
I have a few things.
That's not what was going to happen. I think the biggest thing for me was just having Pelly sitting there.
Yeah.
Completely usurping Brendan Shanahan.
Yeah.
How's that not all the headlines? That this is not Shanahan's gig anymore in its totality, and that's the biggest news to drop in this organization in years. Pelly's going to be hands-on, and Brendan Shanahan, quite frankly, has earned the right to have power taken away from him. Because at that press conference, I didn't even think he was the lead. He was second in command.
Yeah, that's
Treliving was kind of taken over.
No,
that was a terrible microphone, but he was taken over.
How does that happen?
Audio, jeez. But Treliving was kind of the steady voice in all of that, and Shanahan looked shaken.
Yeah.
If you're a Leaf fan watching that and you can't recognize the change that's happening before your eyes for a fan base that all they wanted was change, I'm sorry. I saw a lot there that I liked. The fact that he was present like that, he's sending a message to a lot of people that he's just not going to be present at that dais, at that podium. This is the dawn of a new day. I'm not saying he's in on every draft pick.
No,
but
nor would he want to be.
But no longer Shanahan playing chess by himself. That's not happening.
Yeah.
If you're a Leaf fan, I think it's a good thing.
So I'll admit to this part of it. When I'm watching that media conference, it's like I want the harder mea culpa essentially from Shanahan because he was so defiant for so long about his strategy in the face of so many people questioning it. And so to me, it's like there is a measure of complete unfairness that I'm going into this being like, hey, can you guys just be honest and transparent human beings? And they're like, we're CEOs and executives at a multi-billion-dollar company. Like, shut up. What are you talking about? We're not going to talk to you like that. And so I go, oh, right. I got to remove my emotion from this. Ultimately, there were things that I do think that were kind of productive-ish. Ultimately, the proof's going to be in the pudding in terms of what changes. But I think that is the biggest takeaway from all of it is people want Shanahan fired right now because they want accountability and they view him being there as a totem essentially for what ails the organization, right? That people can fail over and over again and they're going to be able to still maintain the status quo. But I did see that part of it, what you saw, which is you had someone coming in and basically saying, hey, you're going to have to kind of do some of the uncomfortable things here for the next year. And you're not really going to have the latitude or the power that you've once had. And the likelihood is that you're dead duck and you're out of here in a year once I've got the feel for things. And the guy that's beside you with the horrible microphone is going to have more power.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
And like, again, I heard this a few places. Like I heard Doug McClain make the point, like it's valid. Mm-hmm. All the things that you're about to try and get done here in terms of Marner's contract, in terms of Tavares' contract, in terms of that blue line, mm-hmm. in terms of a goalie, in terms of there's probably 3 or 4 things I'm missing. Forgive me. Well, the coach. In terms of a coach, you're really going to throw a search for a new president on the table when the organization isn't sure they even want one?
No, but I don't think. Yeah, that's it. I think that's the greater point is that I don't think that there's going to be one, and I think that they could have done a system where, hey, Tree, you just report right up to Pelly. If that was going to be the way, like, and again, too, it just also seems like. Listen, Shanahan spends a lot of his time living in New York. He's not here as often as some people think. There have been reports of difficulty in terms of getting a hold of him at times in order to get moves done. He's vetoed some moves from previous general manager. I don't know how much of that has been true for at least the Treliving era, but it has been something in the past of, he's put his stamp on this roster. And yeah, if I was Pelly and I was saying, hey, we trust the job Treliving's done. And again, he's someone who speaks the language, seems to really be a straight shooter, has clearly connected with the fan base, has identified some of the ailments of this roster. Doesn't have the best track record in terms of free agent signings. Like you look at it and you go, oof, there's a lot of baddies in here. Don't look up, say, for example, like James Neal or Troy Bauer or Brower. Or like there's a bunch of them that are bad on the Treliving hit list here. But yeah, it does feel like this guy's more rejuvenated, more refreshed, closer to the action, more respected, and I just think that there could have been a direct report situation, and it would have been fine. It would have looked good optically, but I just don't know what Shanahan's day-to-day is going to look like, and that part of it, I sort of wish we understood more clearly, and I don't think that's inappropriate for fans to know. Like, what exactly is the chain of command here, and how does this hockey team actually get assembled from a personnel standpoint? Like, who's making those calls? That still remains murky, and I didn't love that about the pressers, that they didn't make that clear at all.
Well, I'll give you that in terms of the chain of command, because it definitely felt like Treliving was stretching his legs in the field
for sure
in that press conference.
Yeah.
As he should, because he had a whole month to get ready last year, and I'm kind of happy he gets a better chance this year. The one thing about Shanahan, though, that I've always heard is politician.
Yeah.
Like, for a guy who had, 2,000, 3,000 penalty minutes in his career, smart dude. Not a meathead.
Oh, unquestionably
Shanahan,
unquestionably
a very smart guy, whether it's at the NHL offices, with the Leafs, MLSC, whatever. And when you say politician, sometimes that has negative and positive connotations to it.
What are the positives? If someone says I'm a politician, I'm like, okay, great. I don't want to know you.
But the one thing about a politician that will normally be the case if you're a good one is job security.
Yeah.
No, but I'm serious.
I know.
When you say that word, that is, you are cagey at insulating yourself from the BS. And what I saw Friday was a better politician come in, because the corporate sports TV world in this country is littered with the graves of people who thought they could figure Keith Pelley out in a boardroom. And they lost. Pelley is also a very skilled politician. And despite that, it seems like he might have more passion for this right now. Like Shanahan, the one thing I heard a lot, and it didn't hit me when I was watching it, people said Shanahan looked defeated.
Yeah, he did.
It didn't hit me right away, but the more I'm watching those clips, like I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. So just like in terms of who's going to have the power here, Treliving does have a huge opportunity in terms of, and we know what happened to the last guy that tried to go around Shanahan. I don't think it's going to happen like that this time.
Yeah, I don't know if you have. I don't know. I don't think Shanahan has that same power. I don't think that he's got the ability to be like, oh, this guy went around me. It's like, yeah.
Honestly, JD, it was one of the most important press conferences I've seen for this organization outside of last summer with Shanahan in 8 years. The fact that Pelley was there said everything you needed to know.
Yeah. You know what?
And we'll see where it goes. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that I think that's part of why it was disappointing to me and a little sterile, too, is because last offseason Shanahan did speak so, he was so transparent. And it seemed authentic. And, like, he actually did have people rallying behind him going, okay, it's fine. You had a guy that you were in a power struggle with and you didn't like his motivations and he didn't have the track record. So good. Like, you removed him from the organization. And, oh, God, man, that's the only scenario I could think of that would have been worse right now is had they tenured Dubas that contract extension. Like, woof, my God, what that could have been like. Like, maybe it was Toronto that would have had Erik Karlsson's contract on the books. Like, don't
even say that.
Well,
Jeez.
I'm just saying that
I know.
He was interested in him for a while, and then he ended up getting him in Pittsburgh, right? So, the feeling of that even being more status quo. Although I wonder if he was still here, if they would have just cleaned out everybody or how that would have operated. If they would have had another power struggle and seen who was the better politician of the two of them with the new regime. But either way, the fact that he was so, he carried himself that way at media conferences, I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit more of an explanation as to some of the other stuff. Like, I think it was Jonas Siegel that asked the question, like, why now, when it came to recognizing the patterns and why the things needed to change and why the Shana plan and the Core 4 thing was done. And, they didn't exactly say it out loud, but the actions were not like, hey, we really love this. The actions were, it would kind of be a disaster. The read was it would kind of be a disaster if these guys don't want to waive the no move. I would have liked to have heard some of those things. Like, I would have liked to had them come out and go, all right, if Pelly's going to reference chemistry and vision, it was chemistry and something else that he saw with Shanahan.
Skill, chemistry, unity.
Unity, yeah. It's like, I would have wanted to know what that was. Like, what is the unity? Like, what is the idea then? Like, what do you need moving forward? Like, give me some examples of some of this stuff. And those were the things that I felt like were a little missing. And for Shanahan's answer, it was a little bit of like, hey, dude, you're done. Like, if you are done, which it feels like, go out kind of saying why you defended it and what you believed in and why that's changing now. Anyways, this is my last question for you before you got to go. Do you think it's possible then? Because we agree that Shanahan is very much on the hot seat, right? Like, things don't go well. He's gone. They're going to remove the role. Okay, so that's one front office that's going to change. Blue Jays don't turn things around. I don't see a scenario where Ross Atkins is keeping his job. And then the Raptors, it's always kind of murky with Masai, but you have another bad year and you keep him bogged. Do you think it's, what would you say the percentages are that we go into next year, 2025, and all three of the major teams have different front offices?
You mean the calendar year, 2025?
Yeah.
I think
all three.
I don't think the Jays have a completely new front office.
No. I'm saying that they've got a different shape to all of them, though. Like, yeah. Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
The Jays 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's 100%. I think it's 10% for the Raptors.
Okay.
I still think the cachet is legitimate. Mm-hmm. And I think 0% for the Leafs. I think what they have, they hold until the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And they let Shanahan's contract run out, and they go from there. But the Jays situation is, like, I'm waking up this morning to quotes about how everyone's sick. Okay.
So are we.
If everyone's sick, what the hell is Springer doing in the dugout for 2 straight days in the clubhouse? So everyone's sick? Where's Ministral? Are we gonna have a conversation about this? If we have a virus running through the clubhouse, what are we doing? What's going on? It's already excuse city with the organization. You can feel it. You know where this is going.
Yeah.
They're panicking. They're absolutely panicking. And I would be stunned if by this time next year, Atkins and Schneider are still part of this.
Uh-huh.
Stunned. Absolutely floored. Because this is getting in. I don't know if it's getting. It's embarrassing how this is playing out. And, I saw the numbers for Mother's Day compared to last year, like everyone else in that building. And it's interesting. Wait till August.
Yeah.
Wait till August if this bleep show continues.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get some very interesting decisions made.
Yeah. No, totally agree. I got Blair tomorrow. I'm really excited to have him on because he's been as plugged in with the Springer stuff as literally anybody. So I can't wait to kind of get his read on what that situation is and how that's going to evolve. But yeah, he just wrote a great piece about comparing where the Orioles are at right now, which was where the Jays were a couple of years ago, where they were the apple of MLB's eye and the envy of all the other front offices. And it's like to turn it into this and then be in this Orioles series where you're looking at them with their two future MVP candidates and the roster they've built and what the Jays have done with it and what they've squandered. It's like, one guy certainly has to immediately go, probably as soon as possible. Sid, thanks for making time as always, brother. Thanks for clearing up the Jesse Marsch situation with me.
I attempted to.
Yeah.
Hopefully I got there.
That's pretty good.
See you, brother.
Yeah, see you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Peace, man. Sid Seixeiro.